Hello, everyone. Dr. Nina here recording this video to walk you through the quiz that is based on the excerpt that we had to read this week from the Roe versus Wade Supreme Court decision from 1973. As you're well aware, this week's final assignment is a journal entry where you're going to be comparing an argument pro maintaining the legal status of abortion and an argument against, and we're going to get those arguments out of the Supreme Court cases as far as they utilize ethical reasoning. So now let me walk you through the correct answers in this case. We're going to open the quiz on Roe versus Wade, and we are going to start looking at the questions. Let me see. Question number 1. According to the Supreme Court's Roe versus Wade decision, are states ever allowed to restrict abortion? Yes, always, yes, sometimes, no. The correct answer is going to be yes, sometimes. So in order to be able to justify that answer, we can just skip to the final part of the Supreme Court's decision where we see the summary of their argument. So we have their decision, the 3 stages of prenatal development divided into first and second and third trimester, and Supreme Court deciding that there are different circumstances under these 3 stages of pregnancy, so different laws should be upheld. So for the first stage, we're told for the stage prior to approximately the end of the first trimester, the abortion decision and its efficacy must be left to the medical judgment of the pregnant woman's attending physician. No restrictions here. Second, for the state subsequent to approximately the end of the first trimester, the state, in promoting its interest in the health of the mother, may, if it chooses, regulate the abortion procedure in ways that are reasonably related to maternal health. So here you see that in the second trimester, the court decides that the state could, in some ways, restrict abortion for the purposes of maintaining the woman's health. Finally, at the third stage, in the third trimester, for the state subsequent to viability, the state, in promoting its interest in the potentiality of human life, may, if it chooses, regulate and even prescribe abortion, except where it's necessary and appropriate medical judgment for the preservation of the life and health of the mother. So in the third trimester, which is the time when this criterion of viability has been identified, the state could be banning abortion based on its interest in protecting potential life of the fetus. So this criterion here of viability is discussed earlier in the decision. Remember, that is the criterion that is identified as the time at which a fetus, if removed from the womb, could survive outside. That is when we consider it to be viable, and that is the time when we consider that to be a human being that is entitled to protection. Now, it is a little difficult to identify a specific point, but at the time Roe versus Wade was decided, this was the medical statistics that the court referred to. So here we have viability is usually placed at about 7 months, 28 weeks, but may occur earlier, even at 24 weeks. So at 24 weeks, the end of the second trimester, the states may decide to enforce this rule that is going to protect an unborn's life. So here the correct answer is, as we said, sometimes states are allowed to restrict abortion. Okay, let's see. Question number 2, according to Supreme Court's decision, is the right to privacy absolute? Let's take a look at the text and see where that was discussed. So here we are seeing this argument. Although the results are divided, most of these courts have agreed that the right to privacy, however based, is broad enough to cover the abortion decision, that the right nonetheless is not absolute. So this is what the correct answer will be. This right is not absolute. It could be overridden by other interests that a state may have. And in this case, the interests that are cited here are protection of health, medical standards, and prenatal life. So the correct answer here is going to be no, the right is not absolute. Let's see question number 3. According to the Supreme Court's decision, when does life begin? And here we have not specified, and then we have at quickening, at conception, at viability, at birth. When we refer to the text, we're going to see that all of these criteria were mentioned, and that was with respect to the statement that the law in Texas was making, that life begins at conception. That's why abortion should not be allowed, because there's a living being that needs to be protected. However, what the court had to say here was that that really is not universally accepted fact, and that's got to be a fact that has to be articulated by the medical practitioners or philosophers or theologians who have not reached consensus. So this is where the court is going to go over all of these different criteria, and the point of doing that is to say this is not in our expertise to decide whether that's true or false. So this is what they say: when those trained in the respective disciplines of medicine, philosophy, and theology are unable to arrive at any consensus, the judiciary at this point in the development of man's knowledge is not in a position to speculate to the answer. And that's the reason why the court did not specify a point at which life begins. All right, question number 4. What other reasons in support of legalizing abortion were provided in the Supreme Court's decision in Roe versus Wade? And here you see a long list, and I will show you where in the text you can actually see the whole list. So here we have all of these criteria listed. Maternity or additional offspring may force upon a woman a stressful life. Psychological harm may be imminent. Mental and physical health may be taxed by childcare. The distress for all concerned associated with an unwanted child. In other cases, is in this one, the additional difficulties and continuing stigma of unwed motherhood may be involved. Now, in 2023, there isn't so much stigma at women who raise their children by themselves, but in 1973, that was also a compelling reason. So we're going to see all of these reasons listed here. So we're going to check all of them as correct and going to see what we have in question number 5. Here we have, according to Supreme Court's Roe versus Wade decision, is abortion after the point of viability ever permissible? So for answering this question, we're going to again refer to the final paragraph in the decision where we see the summary in the trimester structure. So here we're concerned with the third trimester, the point after viability, fourth stage subsequent to viability, the state in promoting its interest in the potentiality of human life may, if it chooses, regulate and even prescribe abortion, except where it is necessary in appropriate medical judgment for the preservation of the life or health of the mother. So here we see that even in the third trimester, there is an exception that could be made for the health of the woman and for saving her life. All right. Question number 6. Is it true that according to the Supreme Court's Roe versus Wade decision, a state should not interfere with a woman's decision to have an abortion during the first trimester because as of 1973, mortality in normal childbirth was higher than mortality in abortion? This is true. And now let me show you where in the text you can find that evidence. This is a sentence. This is so because of the now established medical fact referred to above at 149 that until the end of the first trimester, mortality in abortion may be less than mortality in normal childbirth. This again may be a little outdated in 2024. However, in 1973, the statistics was that women were more endangered at childbirth than having an abortion in the first trimester. All right, now let's see number 7. What right was cited in the Supreme Court's Roe versus Wade decision in support of legalizing abortion? You're going to recall that this was the right to privacy or the right of privacy, the way the court phrased it. So we can go ahead and say the right of privacy and then look at question 8. According to Supreme Court's Roe versus Wade decision, what interests does the state have that may override a woman's right to privacy and choice over abortion? So here we see protecting the health of the pregnant woman, safeguarding health, maintaining medical standards, protecting potential life. Let's see what we have in the text. Here we see a statement how the right to privacy is not absolute, and here are the circumstances under which it could be overridden. It's when the it's at the point when state interests to protection of health, medical standards, and perinatal life become dominant. So we have 3 reasons, but if we go a little further, we're going to find a 4th one, namely also the health of the mother. Let's go back to Blackboard and see protecting the health of the pregnant woman, safeguarding health, maintaining medical standards, protecting prenatal life. All right, question number 9. According to Supreme Court's decision, at which point in pregnancy can a state ban abortion in order to protect the life of the unborn? We're going to recall that that is after viability, and this is where you can go back and double check that the stage after viability, that's when the state has interest in the potentiality of human life. So we're going to say viability. And then with 10, we have, according to Supreme Court's decision, what reasons could the state have in order to restrict abortion during the second trimester? Let's go back and see. During the second trimester, we're looking at for the stage subsequent to approximately the end of the first trimester, the state in promoting its interest in the health of the mother may, if it chooses, regulate the abortion procedure in ways that are reasonably related to maternal health. So that would be the only reason that would be allowed. Protecting the life of the fetus is not here cited. The only reason is protecting the health of the pregnant woman. So here we are with all of our answers. And we're now going to submit, and we're going to have 100%. Well, this is what I wanted to show you. I will record another video for you that is going to walk you through the other quiz. With that said, I hope you enjoyed learning more about these cases and look forward to reading your journals.